Good evening and welcome to another edition of Inside Government, brought to you by Cayuga Community College. This is a show that's shown on Spectrum, Verizon Fios, as well as ARMA, the Auburn Regional Media Access, and played on the college's radio station 89.1, which is celebrating its anniversary. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. We are delighted to have in the studio today Cayuga Community College's president, Brian Durant, who is just starting, and this is always the math question between you and I, you're starting your 11th year.
Yeah, the 11th year.
Here. We've asked him to come in to talk about a couple of things that have been in the news for SUNY, but also for the college, Middle States. You just got your recertification. You've got a strategic plan, but the big push from SUNY right now is this SUNY Re-Connect. Part of it may be connected to Micron, but we want to talk to you about all that. Welcome back to the show.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with just the basics of the new semester. You're about 10 weeks in. It doesn't seem that way, but 10 weeks in, how's it going?
It's going really well. It's going really well. You know, we're in the middle part of the fall semester, kickoff to the year, and it's just been another terrific start. You know, I can't thank our faculty and staff enough for all the work and preparation that goes into the summer to have orientation for the new class coming in and supporting students as they're re-registering, and then certainly as we get our classes off and running for our students in the fall. The vibrancy on our Fulton campus and Auburn campus has just been tremendous, and it's an infectious energy when you start a new year with new students and continuing students, and it's just been a great start. We're
going to get to admissions at the end, but if somebody drives by very slowly in front of the college today, there's a sandwich board. You have on November 1st, which is this Saturday. What do you have?
We have an open house. It's one of our fall admissions advanced recruitment events. So certainly, individuals, if you're, want to learn more about the college and meet some of our faculty and staff, and certainly learn about our programs, this Saturday would be a tremendous opportunity on the Auburn campus. And when we have these open houses annually, it shouldn't just be for people that are thinking about college for next year. But if you have, if you're a student that's in 10th and 11th grade and you want to learn more about Cayuga, or you're certainly someone who's mid-career and wants to explore what the college is and SUNY Re-Connect or other opportunities here, certainly take advantage of our open house, and you'll be able to meet a lot of terrific people and get a lot of great information.
So where are you on enrollment? That's always been, because pre-COVID, the downturn in 2008, other downturns. Where are you on enrollment now?
So the college the last 2 years has actually had an increase of enrollment each of the last 2 years, and that's been certainly wonderful as we kind of come back from the pandemic and rebuild out our schedule and start to be thinking about our marketing and recruitment, a number of pathways that we have. And then this year, although it's still relatively early, this year we're actually on pace to be slightly up in enrollment again, which is it's a wonderful place to be. And I had the privilege of talking with the Cayuga County Legislature today on their monthly meeting. And as I told them, certainly when you look at demographics, there's some of the shrinking demographics for college-age students, and you look at the projections as we go forward, full growth isn't necessarily realistic, but certainly as we're focused on having stability and predictability with our enrollment, and so to have 3 years in a row now where we're even or slightly up, I think is just a real testament to certainly our reputation, but also a real testament to our efforts that we've made to be able to help support students and attract students here to Cayuga.
So we'll break down enrollment in a second, but you just mentioned the demographic shift. So there's a lot of talk that after the 2008 financial crisis, there was a dip in people having children, right. And so that will affect not only Cayuga, but more importantly SUNY and college enrollment across the country. So what are you looking at, and how do you plan for that?
Well, I think what we look at realistically is we try to get a real good sense of, our service area. So our service area for us, really, if we travel about a 45-minute radius around, our Auburn and Fulton campus, we know that a high percentage of our student body will likely come from within that. And we also know, the typical capture of high schools that we bring in, which capture for us would mean, say, of the graduating class for Auburn High School, annually we bring in approximately, let's just say, 28 to 30% of a graduating class. So if you take the historic trend of those that you capture, your overall service area, and then you try to compare that with, our graduating classes today, or school, class size today, what will they be 10 years from now, and are they shrinking or not? And so if you really look district by district and then across the region for college going or future college going areas, then we can have at least some sense of what we're seeing out there. And of course, we got to refresh the information routinely, but what we do know in the last 20 years or so, and it's ups and downs for many districts, is that typically some of the graduating classes today are smaller, in some cases significantly smaller than they were 20 years ago.
So, or 40 years
Or
ago.
40
So,
years ago.
so let me give you an example. Your son is going to graduate this year.
Yep.
He is going to be in a class of about, let's say, 230, 240.
Yeah, I think somewhere in there.
I graduated a long time ago, and my class was 500 plus. So while you're getting 30% of today of Auburn, that's about 70 students, where if you got 30% 40 plus years ago, that was 150. So the proportion's same.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things when I first arrived here that we really looked at was trying to let's understand our trend data, because when you always talk about increasing enrollment or gaining more students or attracting more students, yes, we want to be able to do that, of course. But when you also then can say, well, if you look at a historic timeline for each of our districts, and we can do a similar thing in Oswego County, similar thing in Cayuga County, those districts that we capture, if you can look back over a 10 or 15 year period of time, and you're plus or minus a few percent each of those years of what you capture, then it's pretty realistic baseline to say that is what we believe we can attain, and achieve. So for us, we just take that as a real indicator of, if we assume we can stay within that trend line or increase it slightly, but the class sizes are shrinking, then we realistically know that we need to be able to attract other people, like adults, and certainly perhaps some people from a distance, leveraging our online studies or other programs.
So taking the big four, leaving out your corrections program at Auburn Correctional Facility, your four big ones are your Auburn campus, your Fulton campus, but the two that people may not be paying attention to are your online and your K-12.
Exactly.
So where do they rank and how are they doing? First of all, what's K-12 for somebody who may not know?
So our K-12 is, we often would call it our Cayuga Advantage program. We also, a lot of parents and families and students may hear it as dual credit. And what that really means is a student in high school may be taking a course that is one of ours, that may be taught by one of the instructors in the high school or by one of our faculty members, and they're getting what's called dual credit, which means they're achieving a high school credit for that, let's just say, in pre-calculus maybe. But they're getting college credit for it. So they're accumulating college credits, which I always like to talk about. They're creating value for themselves, for their future. And that's a significant population of ours. We've talked about it in the past strategically. We have over 2,000 students that are currently in a high school taking one or more Cayuga classes. And that's just a tremendous testament to our school districts by having a number of offerings to enhance what they do within their particular districts. But also, we have spent a great deal of time strategically trying to build multiple pathways and provide clarity on what a student may be able to earn while they're in high school that could help them certainly to be able to come into the college and position themselves in an advanced way, or to be able to potentially align them up to be an accelerated level or an advanced standing level at a different school of their choosing.
But your hope is if they have 10 to 15 credits leaving a high school that they're going to come here for an additional year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of our goals strategically in the last couple of years is we wanted to work with our component districts to say, not only do we have a significant catalog of offerings at your districts that we deliver in multiple ways, we also wanted to be able to start to identify, we have pathways that align with industry, whether it be in business, healthcare, education, whatever it may be. We have a number of pathways. And the way that we're trying to baseline communicate that is saying, listen, we want to connect with learners to say you can get from here to a bachelor's degree, here to employment, starting when you're as early in 9th grade by taking classes that are not just about math or just about science or whatever it may be, but it's a degree requirement for the future degree that you're going to choose and pursue. And so when we did that, not only did we provide clarity for families and districts about the value they're creating for themselves and the rich opportunities that they're able to take academically, but what we also did, working with our college foundation and our foundation board, we were able to establish a scholarship now that we're in year 2 of, where students who have earned college credits while taking Cayuga Advantage courses, that could position themselves up for an additional scholarship to the college that just shows not only did they create value for themselves to be in advance towards their degree, but now they've actually earned an academic scholarship by their amazing high school achievements.
Just for disclosure purposes, I run your foundation. That's my real job. I just come down here to hang out. So
I'll let you do the disclosure.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question that's unfair to you because it's in our corner. My office happens to be next to yours, and there are two parents next to me who have children who are seniors who are going on. Yours one, your assistant is another, and there's a great discussion that might be helpful to parents who have 9th and 10th graders right now. What's the difference between an AP course and what's the difference between a college course? And I know your recommendation, but explain why you recommend, because you've had this out with your son.
Yeah. So
Poor guy's getting picked on left and right here.
My children are amazing, and it's just so incredible to see them grow and go through the high school process. And then when we get to talk colleges, I certainly have my thoughts and views. But along the way, all my children are part of the Auburn School District, and I have two that are in high school and two that are finishing up elementary school. And while they're going through, Auburn has a really amazing catalog of opportunities, whether it be Cayuga courses, whether it be AP courses, and they have had chances to take both. Over time, though, the way that there's value in each in their own right? When it comes to, and that's where I think thinking about what a student's future goal may be, where they may want to go. For me, obviously, being someone who's passionate about community colleges, I'm just passionate about the value that college credits take you. There's a certainty, from my perspective, there's a certainty that happens if you take a college class and you earn a grade of C or higher, C or better, that official transcript will allow you to make sure that course will be transferable to a school. Now what happens with that, obviously if you go into Cayuga, the grade is on your transcript and you're there. But if you're someone that wants to go to a different SUNY school and you apply and you get in, you would provide your transcript from us to that school and they would review that. And if you have a C or higher, or greater, and you have room in your program of study for the course, whether it be an elective or a gen ed or whatever it might be, then that college will accept those credits. And that certainly allows you to be in advanced standing, or to have some of your degree requirements or electives already met. Now, an AP exams have an amazingly rich history of really being a great option for many students. What they also do, though, is at the end of a course, is you take a standardized exam. You take an advanced placement exam, and that AP exam ends up with a test score. And that test score then, when you apply to college or go to college, you would actually send them your scores, and then they'll decide based on the score and their policies which ones they would accept for what course and what it be. I think that it's not as certain, but it also could be a great reason why that college you're looking at, they may really weight the AP courses as something that's tremendously important to them for their admissions criteria. So I urge everyone to talk with your school counselors, and certainly make the right choices for you. For me, just from my experience working in multiple colleges and being through that, I think the certainty of a college course and a grade in a college course, I think provides some clarity on what it can be. And because Cayuga has so many great partnerships with SUNY schools and many private schools that we know will accept them, then we know that's a value that's been something that certainly my children have taken advantage of, and so many do.
So your son, just picking on him, I'm sure he's going to love this. We won't say his name, but picking on him, how many college credits will he end up with? He graduates in June from Auburn.
I think he's on pace to have somewhere between 30 and 40 college credits completed. So
that's a year.
Yeah, it's a year, and he's one that is thinking about studying something in the healthcare field, perhaps nursing, and so he may have some courses that may not fit within the program of study that he's looking at, the schools that he's
still going to make sure you pay for 4 years.
But but he still want to maximize that time. But it has been a great thing, and like I said, he's taken both, and I think both of them have been both types of courses have been important to them. But for Cayuga, we've prided ourselves to roll out a very enhanced catalog to many of our districts. Many districts take well advantage of them. Like I said, over 2,000 students, and we look at it as something that we're able to serve and connect with more families and our communities based on our dual credit and early college offerings than we otherwise would.
So Cayuga has always been a leader I literally could say this, online.
Absolutely.
So more than two decades now, where some had to catch up during COVID,
Yeah.
you had your infrastructure in place.
Absolutely.
So how big a part of your population, not the FTE full-time equivalent, but how large a component is online full-time students for you?
Well, so we take, one of the ways that we can look at that is that we know that in recent years we had several hundred students that were only taking courses from us exclusively online, and that that number obviously is sort of right-sizing itself in a post-pandemic world as we're looking at our schedule and so on. When a lot of times in our intersession, whether it be summer or winter, we have a number of students that are not matriculated with us. They're not degree seeking with us. They go to other schools and they sign up for online courses through us and then transfer them back to their respective institutions. But one of the phenomenons about Cayuga that I think is interesting is that we know historically of all of our student body, right? Most of our students will average somewhere between 35 and 40% of their credits are online in a respective semester.
Can a student get a degree from Cayuga without stepping on campus?
Yes, we have a number of programs that are registered that you could receive a degree fully online. Yeah.
So one of the big pieces of news you couldn't talk about on here with Coach Rizzo was Middle States, because there's a process. So first of all, for those who don't know, what is Middle States and re-accreditation? Right. We'll start with that.
Okay. So Middle States Commission of Higher Education is a regional accreditor that serves the region that Cayuga, New York's involved in. So like New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland. Through this sort of the middle state aspect, they're all part of the same commission, if you will. And so it's varied over the years of 10 years, 8 years, 9 years. But basically, after a certain period of time, every college that's accredited, and all essentially are in one way or another, you must be. You go through a process.
Well, you have to be to qualify for FAFSA.
Yeah, you have to be to qualify for federal funds. It also ensures the transferability of your courses. So it's an incredibly important piece of our identity, and it allows us to see what the standard of accreditation should be, and the standard of excellence should be, that all colleges, regardless of classification, should be striving for and attaining for our students and for our communities. So this past year, it really started about 3 years ago. You go through what's called a self-study process, and so last spring, I believe it was in April, the culmination of that self-study occurred here at the college, and that was we hosted a group of peers that really and that goes through a re-accreditation process. And those peers came in from all over the area that Middle States supports, from other colleges. They reviewed our self-study, and they came in and they measured us on did we provide enough evidence? Did we demonstrate enough evidence that we meet each of the standards of excellence within the accreditation process? And so we found out, after the spring semester and at some point in the summer that the commission did, fully re-accredit the college. There was no warning, and it certainly is a very celebratory time for us. So to get your accreditation reaffirmed, going through the process, it's a rigorous one. It took 3 years of multiple teams within the college, the steering committees that worked on creating a document, providing the evidence, logging that evidence. And then really we felt very proud of what we were able to present to our colleagues that came, and certainly what we presented to the Middle States Commission of the work that the college has done, the talent that we have, the impact we're making on students in our community. And to get that affirmation for our re-accreditation process from Middle States, it really just shows of how the college has really positioned itself well for, certainly our future, but just how proud our history has always been.
So let's take it in little chunks here. So how many people come usually to your campus?
It's usually a team of about 7.
And you've headed one or two of these?
I've headed 2. As part of my, certainly part of my, service to the industry is that I also have participated and led site visits to other campuses through accreditation process.
So they're here for about 3 days. They come on a Sunday night and they leave
about
midday Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so what do they cover during that period of time?
So during that time, what they really do is if you think about it in a very simplistic way, we provided them a document with a bunch of evidence. They read those documents, and reviewed that evidence. When they come in, what they're doing is they're asking questions to provide clarity beyond what they've read to help provide assurance for them that that it's known and that it exists, and that if there's any clarity that's given or further investigation that occurred. So they set up a series of meetings and forums, and during that time they're asking questions and exploring and asking for additional information that can help sort of reinforce their initial opinion of us through the written document and the evidence, but then also to do their responsibility through the commission, which is to develop a final report and to be able to help provide recommendation to the commission on the status of Cayuga.
So they came to the Auburn campus, they went to the Fulton campus, they went down to culinary. I don't think they were able to go to the correctional facility because there were some other issues that had nothing to do with Cayuga.
They were able to go visit a number of component districts as well. So that was it was a really great opportunity for us to be able to showcase our region and certainly to be able to showcase the college.
So this is not you and your executive staff putting together a report. You include the whole college.
No, we had
So you started this
we had two faculty members that we named as sort of the co-chairs of the process, Dr. Richard Bauer and Dr. Terry Cupp, and they did an amazing job. We had a number of steering committees. In fact, the entire process is really absent of me as the president directly. It was a number of teams led by faculty and staff throughout that, certainly there's sort of a guide and a process to do it. They just did a tremendous job, and I was really in awe of the leadership that Richard and Terry brought to it, the seriousness that so many members of our college community took with it, and just how methodical it really was to work through it. It certainly is a very proud moment and something I will appreciate forever. You
were here just about 6 or 7 months the last time this was done, so that's 11 years ago. When's your next one?
So the next one should be in 8 years from now. So we have a little bit of time. I guess we'll take 2 or 3 years and reflect on some of the feedback that we got, and also be preparing for the next round.
Just the negative side, you and Cayuga did not get dinged. But what happens if you do get dinged by?
So often you might get. So what happens originally is if you don't meet one of the respective standards, then what will happen is you might get put on a warning, and then they give you a period of time to be able to respond to that formally, whether it's additional evidence that says this is what we have, or maybe you've made some adjustments to something that puts you in a better position to meet that respective standard. And then if if that didn't quite go well, then you may go on probation. But if you went down too far down the road, you could have a chance to have your accreditation revoked, and that would be devastating to an institution.
And often you see those on the financial side.
Yeah, finances are another critical part to it.
SUNY Chancellor John King was here in the spring. You've had several SUNY vice presidents here. I think they're visiting on a regular basis. The Hilton Garden most likely loves you with the hotel rooms. But one of the things that SUNY is really promoting right now is this SUNY Re-Connect. First of all, what is it?
So SUNY Re-Connect is the name related to what has otherwise been referred to as sort of the free community college for adult learners between the ages of 25 to 55 who have yet to earn a college degree of any type, that enroll in a community college within a specific high-need career-ready program, like manufacturing or healthcare, those types of programs. And so this is something that I must say, we had a celebratory event, I think a couple weeks ago on the Auburn campus related to SUNY Re-Connect. And this goes back to really, recognizing the leadership and related to the governor, certainly the SUNY chancellor. This started back in the legislative process in January, where they announced one of their key initiatives was to be able to bring free community college for adults to help support regional workforce. And this is certainly something that shows our depth as a comprehensive community college and a community college system, that we have a number of career-focused programs and that are aligned with the regional needs. And so this SUNY Re-Connect is an opportunity for adults to be able to have free tuition and fees covered through an additional scholarship process that exists and now for them. And I applaud the governor, I applaud our state legislative lawmakers for their support of it, and SUNY for their support and leadership, because this is the type of effort that really allows us to connect the dots that are so important to our community, which is we have so many amazing employers in this region that have needs, human resource needs, to be able to help support their own goals and missions. And we have individuals that may want to retool, retrain, or be able to switch careers and be able to reduce a financial barrier, to be able to show how community colleges can create that pathway for you from your current life to a new goal. It's a very powerful thing, and also it should support economic development, and also should be able to help support local employers.
So the two items that have been touted a lot have been Micron, and a derivative from that, and then obviously healthcare. And you have a nursing program where you have a 99.9% passage rate.
Yeah, nursing program is a tremendous program where our pass rate, I think, has been 100% for a number of years in a row, and a tremendous group of faculty led by our chair, Mary Driscoll. They also had an accreditation process last year for themselves, and we got word that they were formally
kind of got swept under because Middle States consumed everything.
Yeah, it was a lot of work by people, so that's another exciting thing. But yeah, so we have these programs that exist, and now we'll be able to attract more students.
So SUNY Re-Connect covers fees and tuition,
yes,
and books, all that.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you have anybody in this semester doing?
Yeah. So when this thing finally worked through the formal process of the state, when the state budget gets approved back in, I think last year it was late April, or this past year I think it was late April if I remember correctly. In our cycle that doesn't give a ton of time, but we were ready. We worked with SUNY, and we were able to identify both current who were eligible and potential future students. And I think the last data set I saw, we had over 150 individuals that were somewhere in the process of getting things certified for the scholarship itself.
So since you were last on, you also had your Fulton Law Enforcement Academy is up and running, correct?
Yes, yeah.
You had your first class?
Had our first class. We had over 30 individuals participate, a number of agencies, some agencies here in Cayuga County, certainly across the region in Oswego County, and what a tremendous vision it was. I certainly need to applaud the law enforcement leaders in Oswego County for them wanting to have a vision to grow their identity and to connect with the college, and to have the financial support from Oswego County on the capital side that we were able to leverage with SUNY to be able to build this academy. And within really months of it opening, we're able to welcome a new class of 30+ individuals that have gone through their program now and are graduating and getting out into their area of employment to help support such an important industry. So it's certainly a proud thing when you align certainly a vision with need and create that opportunity, and then certainly have the financial supports from multiple people to make it happen. It really it just shows what can actually occur, and being able to see 30+ to graduate and to be really committed to this profession is really powerful.
I think there's 6 that were from Auburn for APD, and I know at least 1 for the county. How often do these classes occur? Because it's a long program, isn't it?
It is a long program. So my understanding is the traditional sort of academy is one that kind of starts usually in the March timeframe and kind of goes through October. So it is a pretty significant part of the year, and we already were doing, but we'll continue to do other sort of professional development opportunities with multiple law enforcement agencies by leveraging the facility and certainly our connection with industry.
Before we go, I want to go back to admissions because that's big for you. So the SUNY Chancellor has announced this brief period for free applications for SUNY, but your applications are always free.
Yeah, Cayuga's,
so tell us what's going on
Yeah,
there.
so Cayuga's application is free. We currently have our own sort of institution application for admission. But SUNY, and I'm sure many in the community know this, SUNY has a general application that you can apply that goes to all the potential SUNY schools when you select the campuses that you want. So the Chancellor announced that I think we're currently in the window of free applications for those community colleges. So I think individuals are able to apply up to, I think it's 5 is the number.
And it goes till Monday the 3rd.
So I encourage individuals to take advantage of it, because regardless of your financial means, and you're able to take advantage of it. And what an amazing opportunity to be able to apply to several SUNY schools, seek admission, explore those SUNY schools, including Cayuga, to see where the right match may be for you.
The Chancellor reported in the Palladium Times that 52% of those who go to SUNY schools, and I think that's 4s and 2s, go for free. Do you have an idea of how many come to Cayuga? Is it a good share? Is it aligned with the state numbers? Yeah,
I think it probably is aligned with the state numbers, probably slightly higher here. When we're talking about free, we're in likelihood we're talking about the tuition and fee piece of it, not including the room and board, because that may have some variability
Right.
on campuses that have residential life. And so, for us, I do know that we have over 90% of our student body completes a FAFSA. So the financial support that they're able to get through the government programs and other programs, they put themselves in a position to maximize those. And if you go back over the years between Excelsior Scholarship, TAP, Pell, now we're looking at, we look at our own college scholarship programs that our foundation has, whether it be the Advantage program I mentioned earlier, our Presidential Scholar program, and the other privately funded ones. There's lots of opportunities for students to get some financial support, and if the need's there, it's good to hear that there are a number of program opportunities to help support students.
And I just want to clarify, while the deadline for this free period is the 3rd, that does not mean that you cannot apply a month from now. This is the period of time between now
so
and
student
February.
applications will go on all year. This is really
You
a
have
great
rolling.
Yeah, we have rolling process, and all campuses do. But what I think this does in this time of October, November, it really encourages for high school seniors or others to be filling out applications early, exploring your options, and to be able to make your choices. But certainly at Cayuga, we're accepting applications now for spring, and certainly will all year long for next fall.
And every 18-year-old loves being asked the question this month, what are you doing next year? So we want to thank President Brian Durant for joining us today for an update. We look forward to having you back in the studio. We didn't even get to talk about baseball or your strategic plan, but we want to thank him for coming into the studio and making himself available as he does every semester. We'll be back in just a moment with Auburn Downtown Business Improvement District Executive Director Jessie Klein to discuss her new role as the Executive Director officially, the upcoming fashion show that is this weekend, and what the bid will be doing to celebrate the holidays this winter. We'll be off on Thursday as the college's telecom department videotapes this Thursday's Harlequin production in the college's Bisgrove Theater. We'll be back next Tuesday with Cayuga County District Attorney Brittany Rome Antonacci, and we'll have Cayuga County Legislative Chair Jonathan Anna, who's having a busy several months to talk about the budget, what's going on with the building, and what is the outlook for Cayuga County. We'd like to let you know that you can send us your questions and thoughts for guests to cozguytho@aol.com. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cayuga Community College. Thank you for watching this show, and we hope you will join us in just a moment with the bid.